Hi, welcome to the very first podcast of Praana Vaidya.
Wonderful techniques in Ayurveda. There are a lot of treatment modalities with which, without surgery, I can treat couple of diseases.
Hi, welcome to the very first podcast of Praana Vaidya. I am Dr. Vaishnavi, consultant physician at Praana Vaidya. In conversation with us today, we have Dr. Chetan Upadhyaya, the founder and medical director of Praana Vaidya. Hi, sir.
Hi, Vaishnavi.
So today we're going to have a very brief discussion on what Praana Vaidya is and what we do here as doctors, our dreams, our aims and our goals.
So, people usually ask me, how did you get this idea and what is Praanavaidya all about? So, you know my background. I am an Ayurvedic doctor as well as an Ayurvedic surgeon. So, in my career of surgical practice, whichever patient I used to see and advise them for surgery, every patient of mine, the first question they ask is, Doctor, can we do it without surgery? But I know there is wonderful techniques in Ayurveda. There are a lot of treatment modalities with which, without surgery, I can treat couple of diseases. Okay, but in a conventional hospital, if you go to an allopathy hospital, it's not the treatment what patient needs. It is the treatment what the hospital has is what they offer. So you go to an allopathy hospital, it is understood you get allopathic treatment. Okay. But if you go to an Ayurvedic hospital, it is understood you get the Ayurvedic treatment. So you're not led to explore the other option. Okay. The only way to do that is you do their treatment for a couple of months, then you realize that it's not working, then you go for the other system. So this problem of aggravating of the disease as well as getting frustrated during the treatment, in order to avoid that, and I saw this as a major lacuna in the healthcare industry what is there in the present era. So that's when I thought, why don't we bring everything under one roof? A patient coming in should get Ayurveda, should get allopathy, surgery, yoga, name a system of medicine. We aim to give it under one roof, so that we are just trying to make sure that patient doesn't have to roam around searching for different treatment modalities and get unnecessary stress or get their disease complicated. That's when the idea of this integrated medicine came, and we named it as Praanavaidya, and it's been flourishing this way.
So here what question I have is, so this is our motto, this
Yes.
is what we want to give to our patients, but this idea is quite new and also quite challenging also. So what are the challenges that generally you feel that we are facing?
I would say since the inception, I have been working in allopathy fraternity as well as Ayurvedic fraternity. Now all my friends in both the fraternity used to always tell me that if you do this, you are not going to be able to get both the Ayurvedic and allopathic doctors at one place, because you know it's like a rival system. No, now none of the Ayurvedic doctors are okay with the Western medicine, and the same thing happens the other side. They are all just busy in telling that you are not right, I am right, and that system of fight
It's a cold war.
Yes, sort of. I wouldn't say it's cold. Actually, it is sometimes
it's
heated up also. So that war is always there. So for me, it was quite a challenging thing for me to convince an allopathic doctor and Ayurvedic doctor to see a same patient and tell them that you both discuss together and tell me at this point of time what the patient needs. Now this allopathy doctor has to sometimes tell that I think I can't help this patient now. I think Ayurveda can. Or the Ayurvedic doctor has to at times accept that now allopathy medicine is to be given, later I can take over the patient. So this challenge was always sort of hypothetical thing, because nobody has ever tried to do this. So God has been kind and my fraternity is so open. I would say recent days doctors have a very open mind. Now we have that acceptance that everything else is next, patient first. So that's why I am lucky enough to have a team of doctors from English medicine or West medicine or Ayurveda or yoga who are all open to this idea. Now all the doctors who are in my panel are open. They both consult the same patient, then they are open for a discussion and understand what exactly they can do best for the patient. Right. That's how my company has been surviving. Right. And this has been a major challenge, because of which majority of the companies have started but couldn't sustain, because they were not able to maintain the doctors together, and that's the main fuel of the company.
And today we are expanding. We have
Yes.
a couple of branches. So
Yes.
what inspired you? What gave you the courage as a young doctor? This question I'm asking on behalf of young doctors like me.
Yeah. So I would say, see, I come from a very lower middle class or middle class background, so I don't have a strong backup from behind.
Like most
So
of us.
yes, so I have started everything from the scratch. So you always have that scare point. No, what if this doesn't work? And I started with a small pilot study. I started from one center, and the response was amazing. All the patients who came to us, came to Praana Vaidya, really liked this idea. They were accepting what thought process and vision I had. Everybody started encouraging it. That's when I thought, okay, so the outside world needs this. So I started with one center in Rajajinagar, and this was a blockbuster, I would say. So we were quite successful. All the patients who came here were really happy, and in terms of results, I say Praana Vaidya has given results which majority of the other hospitals have failed. So if a patient comes to Praana Vaidya for that instance, it is understood that he comes with this thick file. You would have seen hundreds of doctors, then they come to us. So we do this integrated medicine, and the results are amazing. So we are quite known, like patients who come to us have seen everything else, and they come to us as a last resort. So we've been successful in that, and over a period of time like 1 year, the amount of response we are getting from the patient gave us a boost. That's when I told my team, guys, this is working out. So I don't think we should just consolidate to one place. It's the right time that we should give our service all around Bangalore. That's why we came up in different locations, and our agenda is to have one center in every like 5 to 8 kilometer radius, so we can cater to all parts of Bangalore.
So here, at this point, doctor, with these many years of your experience, which area of diseases or which kind of patients do you think are most benefited with this kind of an approach?
I would want to correct this little Vaishnavi. I would say all diseases in fact have to be approached this way.
In this way?
Yes, definitely. See, because every disease is a disease and it's a pain for the patient.
Yeah.
Now we are not here to, irony is that all doctors are trying to, imposing is a wrong term to use, but we are just trying to do what we know. Exactly. We are not
that is
open.
What we will do,
yeah. So if an integrated approach comes all over the globe, imagine the day when a patient comes to one doctor, he is very open and he tries to he gives an option for the patient to explore whatever is there in the world. So who is it benefit end of the day? It's the patient. So I would say my vision here, this is started with a small start. Praana Vaidya is just a start. I see this idea has to be replicated by a lot of young doctors like you all over the globe, so that I think probably when my kids are grown up, there shouldn't be an allopathic hospital or an Ayurvedic hospital.
Correct.
Hospital is a hospital where you get everything. So that ecosystem is my dream and my long-term vision, I would say.
So now that we've discussed about our long-term goals and what we should be doing as a medical fraternity, I just want to take us on a journey few years back on how your journey started as a doctor.
So that's a quite nostalgic thing.
Yeah.
So people ask me, why didn't you go to MBBS? Because it's like a gateway, no? You have to become a doctor, it's understood you go to that. Yeah. So now who ends up in Ayurveda? People who don't get a MBBS seat, then it's a lateral entry. So a sort of wild card entry,
that's
you have to be a doctor. Yeah, you want to be a doctor end of the day, so you get into some course. Some people end up in Ayurveda, some in naturopathy. But my case is quite different. I had an MBBS seat, but some reasons I was not allowed to go out of Udupi. So I was very strict that whatever you do it in Udupi. So I had no other choice. So the only college that was in Udupi is SDM. So I told, I had absolute no clue of Ayurveda. I come from a very rural place. So without any idea, I just went into the Ayurvedic college. In the first year I went, it was a bomber. I studied physics, chemistry, biology. Now you come here, there are subjects like Padartha, Vijnana, it's hard to pronounce then.
All the Ayurvedic doctors are totally relating to you.
Yes, so it's hard to pronounce and you're expected to study that, learn shlokas. I felt like I've come to some Vidyapita where I'm learning some rituals. So back then it was quite scary, and it happens to majority of the Ayurvedic students.
The colleges are quite strict as compared to other professional colleges.
Yes, they are. So what happened is, over a period of time learning Ayurveda, I started getting fascinated by the concepts because...
Okay, I want to cut you here. What exactly fascinated you?
I would say now, after 8-10 years, I think Ayurveda is fascinating me. I'm just eluded with the vision of the Ayurveda as such. But initial days, the first subject for all the Ayurvedic students who are watching this, you would have come across Padartha Vijnana. It sounds like a subject which is not even relevant.
For all the viewers, it is Padartha Vijnana.
Yes, that says the basic fundamental of the Ayurveda and basic fundamental of life.
The glossary.
Yes. So there are a lot of concepts. For example, you can take Loka Purusha Samyavada. So it says whatever is there in the world, the same thing is replicated inside your body. So it was told 5,000 years ago.
And it is not just about the doctrine of signature. It's not just that. A leaf looks like brain, so that is going to work. It's beyond that.
It's much more than that. See, Ayurveda believes in a lot of thought process. You get this much of hint in one shloka. You are always allowed to think 100 meanings out of it, keeping the fundamentals as the boundary. Okay. So Loka Purusha Samyavada was told 5,000 years ago. Our acharyas were so knowledgeable that they have understood that whatever exactly happens in the outside universe, the time changes, the seasons change, the same thing is replicated in your body. Okay. And now after 5,000 years, Western medicine is calling it in fancy name called circadian rhythm, you eat on time. So way ahead in Ayurveda, it was told long ago. Halaki, it was told in Sanskrit, which people are not understanding, which is told in fashionable English words, is something which is fascinating. So concepts like this were always fascinating me. It's already told here, but why is it not recognized anywhere outside the world? Which comes from the Western mouth is always glorified, which has come from your own kitchen is nowhere respectable. So that's when I thought, yes, this is the area where we can really work on. This is the area where we should focus and bring this outside to the world, so that people, what I have understood, what the way I have been fascinating, definitely the whole India would be fascinating, because when you realize your ancestors were so knowledgeable and you've been got all this through your ancestors and you are not knowing it, definitely Indians should be aware of this. It's our responsibility that we bring it into the notice of the whole Indian population. At least our youth can proudly say this, yes, this is not from you, this is from us.
So you are a person who began your journey into Ayurveda not knowing what it is, and then finally, before graduating, ended up loving the science.
Yes.
But then for today, cut to today's date, you are a surgeon.
Yes.
And you are doing integrated medicine. How did that happen?
So after my internship, I went into allopathy hospital. See, because there is a sort of, I would say, a flow of an Ayurvedic student's life. So you finish internship, you come out, there is no job opportunities. And I come from a middle class family. I have my loans and a lot of family responsibilities. You can't wait for another 5 years to start earning. So you have to get into some hospital for earning. So that's how I went into the allopathic hospital as a resident doctor. And when I went there, these 5.5 years, I was just in the illusion of Ayurveda. This is a nice science. I would say yes, everything about Ayurveda was good. I went into the allopathic science. I see emergencies, those blew my mind. There's a patient coming and there is something happening in the deathbed, and within 10-15 minutes of your skills, you give some injections, you make some procedures, patient is all. You literally save somebody's life. That got my nerves. I was like, okay, there is something much more than what I have studied. This is where I should study this. So that caught my mind, and that's when I started studying a lot of allopathy. I've been trained under very good doctors. I'm lucky enough that I've seen, I still consider them as role models. I learned a lot of allopathy. That's when I got interest on surgery also. I was working with orthopedicians, general surgeons. The way they used to operate, that was, I can't explain it in words. Hope you understand. So surgery is something you feel, no? So then I decided, okay, so if I'm doing some post-graduation, I'm doing in surgery.
Alright.
So then I got into Shalya, which is the general surgery of the Western science. So after I started learning surgery, 3 years of my degree, back then the funny thing was, you were allowed to study surgery for 3 years. An Ayurvedic student can study Shalya Tantra, but you come outside, you are not allowed to practice surgery. So it's like, in a blunt language, you are taught how to make chitrana, but you are not allowed to prepare it outside. So that was the phase like that.
Why do you think it is so?
See, this goes to a way ahead story. We are affected by colonization. Our education system has been destroyed, and we are always fascinated by the Western world.
Right.
Now, there are a lot of Western medicine doctors and fraternity who wouldn't be happy if we are also doing the same thing. Because we are here to study Ayurveda and we are expected to do that. So that's why the Western medicine fraternity was not happy that the Ayurvedic doctors also are operating. Of course, there is an insecurity, and I don't say it is wrong. It is the right thing. So they were not allowed to, but you were allowed to study. But luckily, I finished my degree in October 2020, and in November 2020, the government of India told that people have studied Shalya Tantra or Ayurvedic surgery and trained for this for 3 years. Now you can come out and practice. So it is like a red carpet for me.
Correct.
So I finished my degree, I came out and I was allowed to practice. That's when I joined a surgical team. There's a plastic and aesthetic surgery and a general surgery team. I started operating with them like crazy. I would say in 2 years I would have operated on 2,500 cases. So it was an amazing experience for me, and that's how I got fascinated with surgery. And it was like it's like 2 days I don't operate, I was feeling something is missing in my life. This every surgery would correlate. So that's how I fell in love with surgery also. But my first love is still there in back of my mind. I come to surgery, I can't forget Ayurveda. So that's how both the things I started to manage. So that's when I got Ayurveda, I got surgery, both. At one point of time it was like I was practicing surgery, I was practicing Ayurveda. That's when I saw a lot of lacunas in both the system of medicine in the present era. Okay. That's when I thought let's solve this problem. Correct. And that's where we're sitting here.
So it is so ironic. It's like where you discover your limitations, both systems,
yes,
and try to understand each other's strengths. I think that gives our Praana Vaidya the cutting edge.
Yes.
Where we understand the limitations of each science and we are ready to accept each other's strengths, and that is how I think we should go ahead with it.
It's like a relay race. One person stops, that's when the other person starts.
Correct.
And until you reach the target, everybody is circling around. Your target is the patient. And end result.
And the end, who wins the race?
It's a team.
The patient, the team of the patient.
Definitely.
Yes. So what is your advice to young graduates right now?
Ayurvedic graduates.
Yes.
I would suggest strongly 5.5 years. You have. It doesn't make a difference for what reason you have come to this course. You have come to this course. Please do justice for your seat. Now just think the other way of around, that if you wouldn't have been in this seat, some other genuine candidate would have been in that seat. He would have studied good Ayurveda and would have done much more to the fraternity or given his contribution to the science.
Right.
Now you are into that seat, you need to justify, because if you don't, you are not causing harm to yourself, you are in turn bringing a problem to the science. So if you are into that seat, you should study genuine Ayurveda and contribute to your science.
Yes. See, there are some students, a lot of us, who genuinely are interested. Like this is how I was feeling long back when I just graduated. I am genuinely interested in Ayurveda. I am fascinated by Ayurveda. What do I do after I come out?
That's a good question.
Because you, as you said, you don't have many job opportunities.
Yeah, nowadays it's much different, Vaishnavi. So yes, current scenario, you have a lot of job opportunities. There are a lot of Ayurvedic companies and Ayurvedic hospitals coming up, and you have a good pay scale also. The other option is you can start getting into academics. You can join some medical colleges, can become a professor as well. Otherwise, the other option recently which is flourishing is you can go abroad. Abroad there is a lot of demand for Ayurveda. But I would suggest Indian graduates to develop Ayurveda in India first. We are stuck here, why do you want to help the neighbor? So let's sort out our problem.
Globalization is also something we need, right?
Yes, definitely, yeah. I would suggest we have to clean our house first, then get to the neighbors. So I want our students to glorify Ayurveda in our nation. It has to be a picture sometime down the lane that every person in India should feel proud about Ayurveda. First, once you are done about this, then yes, you go to other countries, you go to Europe, promote Ayurveda. I would be really grateful and happy. Yeah.
That will be a nice trip also.
Yes.
So my next set of questions are going to be a little interesting,
yes,
I guess. So the first question is, for general public, see, I know the matter, but for general public, Ayurveda is viewed as something very rigid, very traditional, and something not progressive. And we are young doctors, and I believe you are a progressive human being.
Yes.
So what do you think about Ayurveda in that light?
Okay, I would split this question into different parts. Ayurveda being traditional is true, and there is no harming being traditional. It's a pride that it's traditional. And Ayurveda being rigid, I will tell it is rigid because it is perfect at some point of time. That's why it is rigid. When one thing is almost like good and the best, it has to be rigid, so that there is no scope for improvisation. And if somebody says Ayurveda is not progressive, okay, that's where the debate starts. Because see,
No, don't judge me. I don't have that.
Not you know, no, you're just being a voice of the public.
Right.
I know there are a lot of people thinking the same, majority of the public. So I would say Ayurveda not being progressive is a wrong statement to give. See, if there is something 5,000 years, there are fundamentals, there are textbooks written, and Ayurveda has told this is this, this is this. 5,000 years, there are n number of scholars who have come with great mental ability of all nations. For example, all these textbooks are gone to all parts of the world also. The modern day scientists are also studying this. But in these 5,000 years, give me one scholar who is able to change a single word from the Samhita. That means it is so perfectly written that it is suitable for all times of the world.
Okay.
So if some book is there in the world which is not able to be changed for past 5,000 years by anyone in the world, I feel it is a perfect thing to exist. And if there is a perfect thing, why do you need progressiveness in that? It is progress to a state. We are yet to progress to that state. You want me to give an example? There are thousands of examples. To give a very common example, I would say 5 years ago or like 4 years ago, the Western culture told don't have ghee. Your lipids are going to shoot up. You might get a heart attack. But now 5 years later, they have done the research which says the contradictory thing. Now they are telling have ghee. It is good cholesterol. But you see, Ayurveda 5,000 years ago it told, boss, every day you have to have ghee. And 5,000 years it is the same. Now we understand it is the right thing. So I would say rather than taking a toss and learning new things and contradicting, in these 5 years people have done mess not having ghee. If they have followed Ayurveda, they would have prevented that.
Correct.
Now the allopathic textbooks are like this. We would have studied BD Chaurasya or Gray's Anatomy, one edition. The next edition there are 10 things which are exactly opposite to the previous edition.
That is what they call as being progressive and up to date.
Okay, now you have something which is standard and progress to one state. You are resistant not to accept that. You still want to climb the steps and come there. Do you want to be a smarter or a fool? It's your choice.
What you're to say is the concepts are timeless and flexible themselves.
Yes.
Right?
The fundamentals of Ayurveda are so strong. If you understand the fundamentals in the right way,
right.
Another 10,000 years, you need not change the book.
Exactly.
It is that up to date. I would go by this way that I know there is something which is perfect and beautiful and okay for all the timelines. I wouldn't want to do research and come there after 5 years taking all this struggle. When you have now your mom prepares you upma and gets it in a plate. Would you go back and prepare another upma and eat? You would prefer this option, no?
Definitely.
So you being smart is your choice.
Definitely. So, and also in terms of approach for treatment,
Yes.
understanding of disease, I think we have a lot of flexibility and we are not standard.
Yes.
I think that standard is rigid and having flexibility of approaching a condition. I think that gives Ayurveda more flexibility.
Yeah.
And you cannot call it rigid.
Correct. That's how 5,000 years later also we are able to follow the same fundamentals. We are treating every day based on those 5,000 years old traditional principles. No,
Yes.
that means it's working. It's not that out of air it's happening. It is happening because the fundamentals are so strong.
Right. And again we have another sector of educated people who till today's day, even though Ayurveda is stepping into globalization and we have progressed so well as a community of Ayurvedic doctors, still there are a set of people who will call Ayurveda pseudoscience, and Ayurvedic doctors are called as quacks. On the internet, on any Ayurvedic video which I probably will have comments here too. Any Ayurvedic reel you scroll, there will be somebody in the comments saying you people are quacks. There's a pseudoscience. So what do you want to say about that?
I have a best answer for this. If you study something, if you have knowledge on it, then you are right to judge.
Right.
What is right, what is wrong. Now you have studied, if somebody is an allopathic doctor who has studied 8 years of allopathy, who has studied Western medicine, how do you get an authority or right to speak about this Ayurveda which you have no clue about? Now, if I talk about, if any Ayurvedic doctor sitting in this chair speaks wrong about allopathy, even that is wrong.
100%.
I am not a person who would take a side of system of medicine. If I would say people who call it pseudoscience should be qualified enough. Now get me an Ayurvedic doctor or a doctor who has studied for 8 or 10 years and in-depth knowledge of Ayurveda. If somebody like that comes up and tells a pseudoscience, he is the right person for debate. Let's sit down and debate. It's not that out of thin air you are no one, a layman walking on the street. You feel like this is fascinating, this is a topic where I can get some fame, and I call it pseudoscience and speak something. It's nothing less than nonsense. I'm being blunt. Nowadays there are a lot of allopathic doctors who have understood the value of this Ayurveda. They are coming to us. They have shown interest, and the irony is, more than Indians, it's the foreign doctors who are interested in Ayurveda, and it says what my answer is supposed to. So a word which has come out from a qualified person is to be taken seriously. If a random guy calls it pseudoscience, don't take it seriously. I don't take it. That's how your approach has to be, and that's how you have to deal with such people. In Ayurveda, it is beautifully told. There is a set of mentality of people according to Ayurveda. They are called Charvaka. Charvaka, yes. People who believe whatever I see is correct, whatever I don't see is wrong. But Ayurveda says pratyaksham hi alpam, analpam hi aprathyaksham. Whatever I see is, yes, it's a part of reality. Right. There is much more reality beyond what my vision can see. Nowadays the allopathy is agreeing this. Okay, so we believe these people who are arguing that Ayurveda is pseudoscience, that whatever doesn't have an evidence or proof is not correct, they are Charvakas. And in Ayurveda, it is strictly told, debating with such people is waste of your time. So we have a lot of other work to do, Vaishnavi. We have to bring Ayurveda to the global level. So let's not discuss with such people. It's their happiness of what they discuss. But if any qualified person says this, we'll take it seriously. Right. If some random guy is telling, don't take it seriously. Life is good the other side.
Right. So one last question to you is, what is your guidance, or what is your advice to the young people who are watching our podcast, when it comes to their career, Ayurvedic doctors?
Okay, let's change this question a little. Let's speak about the career of Ayurvedic doctors, and I have some message to give it to the normal people who are watching this podcast. Youngsters. To all the viewers who are viewing this podcast or listening to this podcast, I would say we are proud to be born in such a land where the whole world, long ago, I think around 4,000, 5,000 years ago, when the whole world was struggling to figure out what to wear, what to eat, whether to cook or not to cook, our ancestors, when in state, we were able to do head transplants. We have references. I know now there will be a lot of people coming up and telling, why don't you do it? We are not capable enough, I would say it that way. Our ancestors were so strong, and they were able to predict the exact timings, exact date, or what time, after how many years you are going to get a lunar eclipse, which the present day still people are able to not figure out. We are born in such a fertile land of knowledge. So start cherishing that. At least when the outside world is accepting your culture, it's respecting your ancestral knowledge, what is the problem in you accepting it? The day you accept it, the way you show love to it, it will definitely come into you, because it's already there in your genes. It is just that you need a trigger and activate it. Okay. And for all the Ayurvedic doctors, you are the messengers of Ayurveda. Now, without a choice, you don't have a second choice. You are the ones who are supposed to take the responsibility and make sure Ayurveda comes to its peak. And we spread the essence of Ayurveda not only to the India, to the world. That's what I want all the Ayurvedic doctors to do.
Right. So I think here we come to an end of the podcast. The ending note, the core of today's podcast, I would like to believe, is that some diseases are considered to be having an Ayurveda is believed to have an upper hand in some set of diseases. Modern sciences have believed to have upper hand in
Western science.
Ayurveda
is modern.
Thanks for correcting me there. Right?
Yeah.
So I'll repeat my statement. Ayurveda is considered to have upper hand in some set of diseases, and Western science is considered to have an upper hand in some set of diseases. But here at Praanavaidya, we believe all diseases can be cured by an integrated approach. So the integrated approach has the upper hand in dealing with all kinds of diseases.
Yes. I would put it this way. Let's be patient centric, not system centric.
Exactly.
That's the essence of this company, and that's the essence of what we are trying to do here.
Right. So if you've watched us till here, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave your questions and your comments. We'll be looking forward to read them and answer for you. Thank you so much for watching our podcast.
We'll be back soon.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.